Welcome to Design Your Reality, a podcast for all things business, mindset, and design. I'm your host, Tara Rotelli, a New Jersey interior designer who drank far too much coffee before recording this intro. But seriously, I am so incredibly excited to grow with you as these episodes unfold. I am scouring the country to connect you with some of the most interesting and inspiring minds that we could ever meet. My intention is to help you thrive and support you in creating the life of your dreams, baby. Hello, listener. This is so exciting. You are listening to our trailer, our episode 0. And that intro that you just heard took me 2 days to record. I'm just laying it all out there, guys. Super transparent here. I recorded it yesterday. I was all proud. And then my business coach and I had a quick chat and decided to change the name of the podcast. So I re-recorded it tonight. And so this little diddly that you're listening to now, I just want to establish with you the goals of the podcast. And personally, when I start listening to a new podcast, there are two main things I care about in order of importance. Number one is, do I like the voice of the host? If I don't, I leave. I don't care what they're talking about. If their voice is shrilling through my head and I can't stand what I'm hearing in terms of the tone, I bounce. And the other thing I look at is, what is this podcast about? Is this something that seems to be in line with what I'm looking to learn? Is it in resonance? So I definitely want you guys to know immediately right off the bat what this podcast will be about. I don't want to take up too much of your time if this is not your jam. So as mentioned in my intro, I'm Tara. I'm an interior designer in New Jersey. And I've started this podcast because I wanted to curate a collection of people who appeal not just to me, but to any business owner, any entrepreneur, any homeowner that wants to learn more about interior design, anybody looking to start a business, or somebody just looking to kill time and listen to a podcast that covers multiple different topics. I would say, if I were to illustrate this podcast in the shape of a pizza, and it would be a pepperoni pizza, thank you very much. Not into Hawaiian. Let's just lay that on the table. If you are, power to you, but I can't get behind it. So this podcast, if it were a pepperoni pizza, I would say to expect that half the pie is going to be business related in terms of strategy or tips or perspective that could help you as a business owner, or even somebody in your career, and you're just looking for something that can help you thrive in your job at what you do. The other 2 slices, I would say, let's say 2 of the 8 slices are going to be geared towards interior design. That is my expertise. That is what I do for a living. And I take a very specific approach to interior design when I'm working with somebody. And the mindset that I approach interior design with is something that I think that everybody could benefit from. Literally every person that lives in a home, and that's, God willing, the majority of us, right? So I truly believe in my core that if your interiors are where they should be or could be, that your life will be improved. And I say that genuinely, not in a dramatic way, that your life can seriously be changed by your home and your home functioning for you and serving you. So that leaves us with 2 more slices of pizza. I would like to focus on mindset. I would like thought leaders to come onto the show. I would like to talk about self-development, personal growth. So there should be a little something for everybody. And if that's your jam, if that sounds like something that you'd like to get into and you'd like to subscribe to, then welcome. We're best friends. Love you. Sending my best. I will get Christmas cards out in the mail to all of you. Anyway, so who am I? Who is this woman that you are listening to ramble in your speakers, in your headphones? Well, I'm an interior designer from New Jersey, and I'm a mother, and I am currently a fiance, and that is something that I definitely want to touch on because at the point in time that I'm recording this episode and releasing it, we are in mid-May of 2021, and I am not yet married, folks. I am getting married in September. Rotelli is going to be my new last name, but right now I'm in a really transformative season of my life where not only am I looking to start a marriage in a couple of months, but also I'm reconfiguring my business. And with that, enter podcast. So I'm working with a business coach for the first time. And I tried starting a business in my early 20s. It was actually a clothing line, which I will talk all about in a future episode because that was one of the best experiences of my life was running that clothing line. But during that experience, I didn't consult a business coach or a branding or marketing coach. Now, fast forward 10 years, and here I am. I'm an interior designer running my own business, and I wanted to amp it up, step it up. I wanted to take it to the next level, so I brought on a coach. And with that, I had to really get clear on what I was looking to do with my life and who I was looking to serve and what kind of business I wanted to run and what kind of life I wanted to lead. I'm only 33 and, there's many, many years ahead, and my business is still pretty green, my interior design business. So I brought on this coach, and here we are. I'm taking a 9-week course with her, and I'm halfway through, and I'm already tackling a major goal of mine, and that's to be putting myself out there to talk to you. And this is awesome. I'm so enthusiastic. And listen, a lot of people, when they start anything new, it's rough around the edges. It's not perfectly polished, and it's so fun, or I find it super entertaining to watch them grow and change and evolve. And I love startup stories. That's something that I'm hugely into. And I think it's great that if you're listening to this podcast, and it's not that, we're a year in the future and you just backtracked and listened to this, but if you're listening to this in real time in 2021, you are watching me start a new journey, and that's cool. And you'll get to see. You'll see how I grow as a host even. So that's awesome. And I'd love to know how this podcast affects you if you're a business owner, if you're somebody who is starting a business or looking to start a business, or somebody who's not and just wants to learn some new things, meet some new people digitally, then that's awesome. But listen, I really want to connect with my audience. I'm not starting this podcast just so I can hear myself speak in my headphones. It is truly to reach people with my message in the interior design world, but also with the messages of any of the guests that are coming on here. I want your lives to be improved. And I'm going to refer back to that super epic intro that I recorded for you guys that, I chose the music that I chose for that intro because I think it matches my passion. And to be honest, I think one of the most surprisingly fun parts of assembling this podcast has been choosing that intro music. I spent a few hours surfing through all the different things that are out there online, and I heard that cinematic intro, and I was just like, boom, that is it. That matches my drive, my passion, my heart, and I want my listeners to feel that. I am definitely a quirky person, and I hope to keep you entertained, but behind all of the corny jokes that I'm going to be throwing out, there is a tremendous amount of passion that I hope is infectious. And I hope that after you listen to this small clip of audio floating around the internet or Spotify or whatever, that you move on with your day and you totally kill it and exceed your own expectations. And that's what it's all about. So there's been a ton of incredibly inspirational podcasts that I have listened to, and I can tell you truthfully, wholeheartedly, that there have been times that I just was not in my highest self. I was depressed, upset, discouraged, and I didn't feel motivated. And there have been times that I've turned on these episodes, and after listening to them, I took action. I totally took action. And I can tell you truthfully that last week, so I'm a mother, I have a 7-year-old son, and last week I was driving him to school, and I am not a morning person. Guys, I'm going to touch on that through this journey with you because I find it hilarious that I can't become a morning person. It's just not, wait, I should not be saying that language, that I can't become a morning person. Let me restart. I am not a morning person at this point in my life, but I will be. I will be. It is something that I am after. Okay? So there you go. Motivational. I'm going to totally just manifest that. All right? Anyway, so I'm driving my son to school. I'm groggy, and being self-employed, there's a little bit of flexibility. And that day last week, I was just like, ugh, I'm going to go home. And when I get home from taking him to school, I'm just going to lay on the couch and just chill for a little bit. And that was the plan. I was going to do that. I was going to drop him off at school, get a coffee, take 3 sips of it, put it aside, lay on the couch, take a nap. And instead, I turned on a podcast, and I don't remember the exact name of it. Shame on me. I'm actually going to look it up right now as I'm talking to you. But there is an interior designer named Michelle Bennett, and she is from Canada. And she has a podcast that is focused, it's interior design focused. It's called Real Talk Design with Michelle Bennett, or Michelle Benet. I apologize, Michelle, if you're listening to this and I pronounced your last name wrong. Anyway, I turned on one of the episodes, and I love Michelle's voice. And I was just listening to her interview somebody, and I don't remember which episode it was, but something I heard just totally lit my cells on fire. I was just like, whoa, like that was awesome. And I ended up going home, and, I took my shower and I started my day, and I was pumped. I was ready to go. And it was in that moment that I knew, all right, I got to do this podcast. Like, that's it. No more pussyfooting around, because I want to offer that to people. And to my knowledge, Michelle is actually discontinuing her podcast. She won't be running it anymore or releasing it anymore. But regardless, that's the beauty of podcasts, is it's considered quote unquote evergreen content, that it's not just relevant in the moment that you publish, it's relevant other times too, much later. And her podcast specifically, I think she has, maybe 50 episodes or something that are relevant always. So Michelle, shout out. While we're doing the shout out thing, I should probably tell you who my coach is. My coach, who has helped me figure out what actionable strategies I needed to become the business owner that I want to become, and produce the things that I want to produce, and prioritize. And listen, I will dedicate a whole episode to the fabulosity, I was going to say, that's why I kind of tripped up there, but the fabulousness of this woman's podcast and her program that I'm in. And her name is Ashley Han. She has a podcast called The Ashley Han Show, and I highly recommend it. She is a huge inspiration for me. So between Michelle Benet's podcast, Ashley Han's podcast, and I'm going to shout out my third favorite. Now, guys, don't leave this episode like right now. Don't just bounce and go listen to theirs. Listen to theirs. Definitely listen to theirs, but stick with me too. I am so passionate, and I really want to give you guys an awesome show. But you need to know, listen, I got to lay the groundwork. These are the people who totally inspired me. So the other person, his name is Andy Frisella. He's real big right now in the nutrition space. He has a podcast called Real AF with Andy Frisella, and he is the creator of the 75 Hard program, which is a mental toughness program that I actually attempted about a month ago, and I made it 17 days out of the 75. And I was so beyond elated with my results that I received after 17 days. I fell off, and the look into the program, I'm not going to go into that now, but look into the hashtag 75hard program. And I fell in love with his content also. He's super inspirational. He's definitely got more grit, and he's rougher around the edges than some of the other podcasters I listen to and some of the other influencers and motivational speakers that I listen to. Andy will tell you like it is, and that is just sometimes some of us, that's what we need. I used the word pussyfooting before. Sometimes when you're looking for advice, some people are afraid to slap you with the truth, and he doesn't. He will hit you where it hurts. So I will leave links to these 3 podcasts in the show notes today so you can take a look. And then what I want you to do is subscribe to my podcast and stick with me. I will help you design your reality. I have our guests lined up. I have our first 10 episodes all set to go. And if you're finding this intro later, I want you to know that, you know, if I'm 75 episodes down the road and you're checking out this intro, I want you to know that I really put a lot of thought and heart into the first 10. And among the first 10 guests, I'll give you a sneak little peek. I will have a New York City blogger on talking about his journey. I will have an NLP coach on. You can go ahead and Google that, what that is. A fellow interior designer will be on, and an author will be on. So between those 4 diverse people, I think you're going to get a really nice burst of inspiration and all different perspectives. And also within the first 10 episodes, I promise to give you my personal pain to power story. I'll give you a sneak peek now, and I'm going to vulnerably tell you this with tears in my eyes, that my upbringing was different than most because I was raised by a handicapped single mother. And my mother is legally blind, and I consider my upbringing and her parenting to be the catalyst for my success. And if I had not lived the childhood that I lived, I don't know that I would be here talking to you. I don't know that I would be a self-employed interior designer who took a leap of faith to follow her dreams. I don't know that I would have ever believed in myself enough or been driven enough to strive for the life that I'm striving for. I can't tell you. I mean, I don't know. But when I think back to my why, when I think back to what motivates me, it's my mom. And it's the fact that she can't do this. And when can't is not a good word to use, because if we're talking about the power of positive thinking and manifestation, you never want to say can't, okay? But we're dealing with a category that she's in where she's handicapped, and she doesn't have the same advantages that you and I do just naturally by waking up in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, do you say to yourself, oh God, I am so grateful for my vision? You probably don't. You know, and that's where I come from, is that's always embedded in my subconscious. So I'm really excited to get into that with you and have you learn a unique story. And it's been funny too. My mother is hilarious. I would love to get her on as a guest. She will blow your minds. You'll be rolling down the parkway or wherever you're driving. So listen, that's something else that I would love to touch on with you, is that when faced with adversity or challenges or difficulty, it doesn't mean that you need to let it defeat your mental. My mom is still funny. She's still magnetic, and you just want to talk to her. And she may not be everybody's cup of tea, right? But I can't wait to get into the story, you know? So now the other thing that you should know is these first 4 guests that I'm bringing on, happen to be all East Coasters. So if you are listening and you live in New Jersey, you know what we have. And I know you see it, but we are a diverse bunch. So if you're not from Jersey and the only exposure to New Jersey that you've had is reality TV, I'm here to tell you that, yeah, there's a fraction. There's a fraction of Jersey that, they definitely represented. But the beauty of New Jersey is just like people perceive New York City. New Jersey is so wildly diverse, and the amount of different types that you will find who all hang their hat here they're just wow. So yeah, I wanted to be a hometown girl and make sure that my first few guests were East Coasters from New Jersey or around New Jersey. Okay, everyone. So I think that's all I have for you for now. I think it's time I go to bed. It is 1:17 a.m. here in beautiful Bergen County, New Jersey. And maybe that's why I'm not a morning person. I'm definitely a night owl. But listen, this is what passion gets you. When you are in flow and you are in creating mode, this is what happens. Sometimes you go past your bedtime. And I think some of my most, or some of my best ideas come in the wee hours when everybody's sleeping and all I can hear is a train in the background. I'm not sure if my mic picked that up. I'm sure it did. Where I sit, actually, where I live, I have a stone's throw away from me, a Burger King, a Dunkin' Donuts, a Target, and probably 2 stone throws away is a mall. There are trains, planes, and automobiles all over, and so forgive the fact that you will be hearing all of that nonsense in the background sometimes. But at any rate, in the show notes, I am going to leave you an email address that you can use to contact me with your requests. I definitely want you to feel as much a part of this show as I am. You are what I am here for, my listener, and I want you to be inspired. If there is somebody that you think would love to share their story, their pain to power story, their startup story, or talk about what they know best that relates to business, interior design, or self-development, then definitely send them my way. And if there is a certain subject that you are looking to learn more about, please just send me an email and I will throw it in the hat 150%. Without you guiding me on what content to put out there, the show will not be as perfectly curated as it absolutely could be. I am here to serve you on your journey. So everybody have an incredible night or morning, whatever. I can't wait for episode 1. Thank you all so much. Bye.